Hey Crestwood, happy Wednesday to you. Hope you guys are doing well and more importantly, staying warm. What a crazy stretch of days we've had, and this weather can challenge us. And I know some people are dealing with electricity issues or internet issues, or it can be difficult. So hope you're staying safe, hope you're staying warm, and I hope this makes you mindful of the blessings that you have that allow you to stay safe and warm in the midst of this weather. It is my honor to be with you to bring you this devotional for Wednesday, January 17th. Still thinking about Dr. Martin Luther King and the service that we had on Sunday evening at Central Christian Church. It's always such a powerful experience to gather together as disciples, to welcome people in of other faiths, and to celebrate Dr. King's legacy. This service I found especially moving. There were representatives from different faiths. There was someone from the Sikh community, Jewish community, Islamic community, as well as Christians. And each of them participated in the service in a way that I thought was really, really powerful, that they didn't just read something and sit down, but they shared about how Dr. King's legacy intersected with their faith and their understanding of what it means to live that out. I went with several of the youth that I took to the service, and a couple of them had never been to that service before. So it was really interesting seeing that service through their eyes, and they were just blown away by the preacher, by the music, by the spirit of community that was there. And it was just reminded me how important it is to gather, to worship in those kind of spaces. The preacher, his sermon was titled, "Is America Going to Hell?" Very provocative. He based it on Matthew 25, where we are called to do certain things for the least of these. And if we don't do these things for the least of these, then we will be locked out of God's kingdom. Really gave me a lot to think about. The music is always fantastic. It's just such a powerful service. But here's what I take away from that, and here's what I want to share with you today. There's something to be said for getting out of your comfort zone. For the youth that went with me, they'd never been at that service before. I don't know if they'd worshiped at Central Christian Church before, but it's a different place than Crestwood. I don't know that they had ever experienced worship with an African-American preacher, with an African-American, predominantly African-American choir, with different faiths present and represented. And it's so easy for us to close our minds to that when we get so familiar with something. You know, when we have a different element in worship at Crestwood, some people sort of bristle at it because it's away from the norm. It's away from the comfortable, away from the familiar and what we're used to. But I think that is so important to our faith. We have to put ourselves in places where we are uncomfortable, where we are experiencing something unfamiliar, where we're with people we don't know, because then we get to see faith through their eyes. And it's fascinating to me to witness worship in a church different than Crestwood. It's so fascinating to me to watch how other people experience and participate in worship. I love the call and response that the preacher got from several of the African-American people who were in the congregation, and how he fed off that, and how there was interplay with that, and there was humor with that. I love those kinds of things. You know, we get so used to how we experience faith, how we experience worship, how we see God at work, that we can almost create these blinders, and then we don't see all the other ways that God works. And so experiencing music done in a different style, experiencing preaching done a different way, experiencing a different sense of community can just open up and expand our understanding of God's kingdom. You know, one of the things that marks God's kingdom is its diversity, is that God brings people together from all backgrounds to come and to sit at the banquet table and to feast with God. And when I go to that Martin Luther King service every year, I feel like I'm getting a glimpse of God's kingdom, because there's people of all colors, all ethnicities, all faiths that are coming together around this common theme of celebrating Dr. King and celebrating his legacy and committing to live out that legacy. I wish we did that more often. I wish we were more uncomfortable more often in worship, so that we could expand our understanding of what it means to worship God. We got a glimpse of that on Monday or on Sunday, and for that I'm so thankful. I want to encourage you to find ways to put yourselves with other people who worship differently, who experience faith differently, and to have conversations about what that means to them, because every time we do that, our understanding of faith expands a little bit more. I know it did for the youth who are part of the service. They'll never forget their first Martin Luther King Day commemorative service. I hope you get a chance to experience those same kind of things and to see God through other people's eyes, because when you do, God just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And what a blessing that is for us. God bless you, Crestwood.